1923. Like I said, everyone's favorite Brennan, Neal Brennan. I love Neal Brennan.
Well, you don't like the other Brennan, do you?
I love Kevin.
Oh,
Brennan.
you do.
I am the one.
I
love Kevin.
You are his one fan.
I used to listen to his podcast.
But you just said the best Brennan, the one Brennan.
Well, he's done the most for the culture.
Yes.
Whereas Neal Brennan, people probably think is a white supremacy.
Neal Brennan is the whatever. You just mixed them up.
Kevin Brennan. He's just such a curmudgeon.
Yes.
Like whereas Neal Brennan has the success
to not be a curmudgeon.
Neal doesn't have to do anything for the rest of his life.
He has the success, and so he's worked on himself.
Yeah.
Kevin Brennan has not had the success, so he will not work on himself.
Yeah.
And they're going to different places.
Yes.
But Neal has done a lot of work.
Apparently. I had no idea.
Which you don't think about.
Like, I knew he had done that ketamine, and that's about it.
And also, when he talked about that, because I believe it was on Rogan.
Yes.
It seemed like it was good.
Yes. Well, because they just kind of like breezed over it as far as I remember.
And now this one, he came out and said, looking back, no, I thought it was horrible. Like, it was not cool.
You got to do ayahuasca instead.
And even then, I thought he was like, pump the brakes on this stuff. Because they were saying, Joe's saying, this is leading right to the end, because that's what they're talking about. But corporations got to get behind this. Like, and he's like, I think this is too intense for corporations to get with, because he tells the story, which I was worried that you listened to, that he had the reoccurrence. I forget what he's called it. 5 days later,
A flashback.
Yeah.
And that's what everyone I talk to, when I say do mushrooms or whatever, like, yeah, but what if I'm stuck there? And
Well, that's the fear.
that is the fear. And
No, with mushrooms.
No, with any
psychological.
yeah,
Really, with
any-
mushrooms, you think 10 days later it's going to come back?
because it lasts a long time. There's some point in your trip where everybody just kind of thinks.
Oh, in your trip. I thought you were talking like preemptively.
No, but that's where that comes from. You know what I mean? And then people, I don't know, whatever.
I mean, I know what you mean.
I don't think it's going to happen, but that's definitely like with acid for sure. That's why I didn't do it, because they talked about the flashbacks, but we went over this. That was all psyop to get you to not do acid.
I mean, even then, a non-psyop, something that does happen. This happened. There was a guy that was like, I think he was fixing typewriters from like the 60s, and they had been in like an acid lab, and he was fixing the keys, and I guess he got like, there was acid all over the keys, and he ended up fucking tripping balls. So that could happen.
That's not a flashback.
No, I get that, but I'm just saying, it's crazy
The lie I think they made up about acid was that you would, if you do acid once, you store that acid in your like spinal cord for a really long time, and then at any point it could loosen and.
Well, that just shows the broken telephone, because I always heard it was fat cells.
Oh well, whatever.
So if you burn off fat,
Okay.
I just love that you can tell someone below the age of 16 pretty much anything ridiculous that you want, and they will remember it well
I
enough.
will believe it
Now?
until adulthood.
now.
Okay, maybe not now with
Now
the
they can
internet.
do
Now you can find
So
out.
I don't know if you could look like
You know
such a
what, though?
guru.
Listen, we say that. You don't know how many people don't use the resources that we have available.
And look at how things just like get spread that much faster, because
That too.
nobody's out there fact checking shit, man. You see a video, you assume it to be true, and you pass it along to your friend.
I just want to double back real quick on what you just said. We brought it up in the Chrissy thing, but like you were talking about how history was written by the winners. I feel like history from the internet forth will be very hazy.
Yes, it is. It is right now.
But that's what I'm saying, and because history will now be written by everyone.
Wikipedia styles.
No, because like
You could find the
Wikipedia,
history
no, because
sort of
Wikipedia is
works
one
for you.
page, but you can. That's what I'm saying. You could go back and literally, Simon, you could, if you wanted, 100 years from now, go back and probably find websites to be like, wow, it really was the Jews that, you know what I mean? Like
History,
you pick whatever.
The world is round or flat.
Sure,
or
pick whatever hill you want to die on, and you'll find enough websites that correlate or
Yep. No,
back your story up.
You're absolutely right. And then what becomes the arbitrator of truth? You know, like we can already see that can't be held in the hands of the
Algorithm.
or the people at the top of these companies, because their idea of truth is so much different than your idea of truth.
I mean, like, think about what we know about like law and and like justice and cases. Like, how many documentaries have you seen in the last 10 years where like there was shoddy police work and they just threw a body on someone? You know what I mean? Like, how many stories do you think there's been like that throughout history where like it never got rewritten? You just go back and there's an article being like, oh, this guy's great grandfather was a piece of shit murder rapist. And it's like, oh, no, he wasn't. He was.
And all it takes, like, literally is 2 generations of kids, and you've already can change history, you know, like with the books. It's just, it doesn't take long. Like, in our heads, we're like, oh, no, we'll believe that until the end of time, you know? But that is not how that shit works, man.
Sorry, keep going, Kabar. I got off on a little tangent there.
Well, it was a good tangent.
They talked about Ukraine and Johnny Depp, but we'll get into that with probably Neal.
Aren't we talking
Neal.
about Neal?
Sorry, with Lex. We'll get to Ukraine.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely hit Ukraine.
More
with
personal
Lex.
thing there.
Oh my God! Speaking of Johnny, though, did you guys see that text? I guess it's like a transcript of maybe him talking to his buddy
Paul Bettany
about
that who it
Elon's
is?
crooked dick,
and about how he's gonna chop it off, and she's a cum guzzler. Dude, it is so fucking funny.
Have you ever called someone a cum guzzler?
I have not, but that was fucking priceless.
I have. I've called someone a cum guzzler and a cum dumpster.
Wow, you should be so proud of yourself.
No, you're not in a good place where you do that. It was so funny.
Do you have a transcript of that episode?
Maybe I do.
I would love
you
that.
You can search your messages.
You're just gonna search cum guzzler, see what happens.
Oh, look, it's there.
But Neal Brennan is just so funny. He was talking about giving tags, and that's the best thing in comedy and having friends in comedy, and like that is, you just take it for granted. But people watch you go, oh, when you said this, you said that. Even when you're there and you're comfortable enough to tell me, like, you should say this or whatever. Like, it really is a gift. Like,
would you ever use a tag I gave you?
I would try it if it didn't work.
Okay.
What if it was a lesser comedian?
All the time.
Really? It doesn't matter?
All the
That's
time.
big of you, for sure.
Well, no, you hear it. You should never be like, sorry, perfect joke.
Right.
No help,
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
hear.
yeah,
And if you hear it, it makes it, of course, that's great.
And you're just looking for the best outcome in the end because nobody's going to know that this guy helped you.
And a problem with doing jokes too many times is you get like, oh, this is how it has to sound. Someone adds 2 words it could be, and it just, oh, shit.
Imagine that guy goes up and he's like, oh, you know when you laughed at Kamar's joke?
That was mine.
I gave him that tag.
A guy does that every time I tell the joke. He runs over to tell him. But I have given other people tags, and the feeling when it works is a validation of, oh, I get this. Like, because I could not tell that joke. It didn't work for anything I do, but I saw what you're saying, and my brain kept saying, you should say this. They did it, they tried, and they're grateful, and it's part of comedy.
No, I could see that being very rewarding, man.
I think
Well,
so.
I mean, Neal mentioned it in this episode, but I've heard him say it in the past where he was like, Chappelle and I were great working together because he's like, I was good at like pitching a premise, and then Chappelle would just knock it out of the park. And I think he alluded to that in this. Where it was
it's collaboration,
like, yeah. I can't imagine how much fun it would have been writing the Chappelle Show. Especially knowing, because think about it. You release the first episode, which is Clayton Bigsby, the black white supremacist, and you don't get canceled. So right away in the writer's room, you got to be like,
freedom.
we have a certain amount of leeway here to like really explore some fun fuck. And then you have Charlie Murphy at lunch telling
Darnell
his
Rawlings, Charlie Murphy, like
Bill Burr, like
yeah.
It was insane the lineup they had over there, and just I can't fucking imagine like
Bill Burr wrote on that?
no, but he was on the show. I mean, he probably
notes. That's what's interesting about writers and writers' rooms. Like, it's not one person writes it. One idea could be there, and you're there for another week's check. Just adding to it, like it's all.
I mean, they did a lot of ad libbing too. Like they had one episode where they showed stuff that never made it in the show, and like, what was it? It was Chappelle saying, Rosie O'Donnell, she wears underwear with dick holes in them. That was like a throwaway line that they just ad libbed. But I can't imagine how much fun that would be.
He told the story about you don't want to have a cool accountant.
Yeah, you want the nerdiest. Yeah, you never want
That
your
guy
accountant at the
way
bar
too
with
cool.
you. Yeah,
He's going to jail in 6 months.
yeah. Where's my money?
And couple that with he was always like to Chappelle. I don't think Cosby's a good guy. Obviously, Chappelle gave him the benefit of the
Revered
doubt.
him, yeah.
And he said, when I walk past, or Tiger Woods walk past me, I was like, that guy fucks a lot.
Like, and that feels
Sixth
good
sense.
too when you're right about
And
somebody,
intuition,
and
yeah.
especially when nobody else can see what
Yeah.
you can see. That feels very rewarding. That's happened to me a couple of times, and I feel, on a personal level, but on a bigger level, I feel like that's Elon. He is going to prove to be that person for the world.
And we're going to sit here on our high horses.
And I,
A
oh my
global I
God,
told
you will
you so?
never hear the end of it.
Because you're not
from
the
me.
only one.
Of course not. Of course not. But like, that's one that I haven't wavered on. I feel I've wavered on lots.
I feel like
of
it's been
things.
all of us.
But
No, I'm still on his dick.
Okay. Well, I feel like it's been me and you, not just you.
Sure.
Don't sure me like that. This
I
fucking
am
prick.
only talking about myself because I can't speak for you. But if you want on the Elon fucking hate train, I think it's a big train.
Too late.
And it's a train that goes underground.
I'm not
in a
that,
big
I'm not that
tunnel.
kind of bandwagoneer.
Oh, you certainly are. I don't know. Why do you like Elon still? You think he's a good guy.
I say it's inevitable. Who else is going to do it? He seems good to me.
Can I also say for the record, I said on this podcast 7 months ago, I should short Tesla. That's what I said on this podcast. And it was like $1,100 a share at that time. It's $750 now. That'd make a killing.
Oh, okay.
I would have made a fucking fortune.
And listen, yeah, you know what? I think Elon is like, he is winds of change. Yeah. You're looking at an imaginary person.
Yeah, you might be.
Like just something that they made up. Who even knows who that fucking guy really
You know what's
is?
funny is they talk about Zuckerberg being like an alien or a robot, but Elon has way more like weird lizard robot traits. His lip and his bottom jaw, the way he
And obviously
talks
he
and
has
moves.
a fucked up dick. So maybe that's like a remnant of like, you know how
Lizards can't get the human dick right. It's just they
you
cannot.
know how pigs have like spiral
No, that's
dicks?
ducks, isn't it?
I think pigs. Oh no, maybe that's their tail. Pigs have fucked up dicks, though.
Okay, well, I don't want to care. I don't care, but I know what
Maybe
you're saying.
pigs look at us and go, those human dicks are
Oh
fucked
yeah,
up. Who
I
knows?
mean, listen,
Look at this guy's straight cock.
it's all about perspective,
Yeah.
right?
Tiger Woods may have jeopardized his legacy in golf because he wanted to train with Navy SEALs, and that's where he got the injuries, and he almost became a Navy SEAL.
I don't think I believe it.
It's just so like, how dumb do you have to fucking be?
How dumb do you have to be?
Well, you have this cash cow. You were born a winner with this gift that can literally just keep giving. Like golf is not a sport where you're like, oh, I'm pushing 30. I got to think about retiring. You can golf forever.
Well, the way he was doing it, you put your body through an awful lot of strain.
Fine. So why go the extra mile
yeah,
and
yeah.
do SEAL training is my point. Listen, I get it. He wasn't going to be at the top of his game forever, but he would have had longevity given his...
Maybe he didn't want to golf anymore, man. You don't know.
He wanted
what
to fuck
it's like.
waitresses, yes.
This is what I was saying. Maybe it would just present himself, well, this is really living. Like, even being good at golf and everything was fun. Doing this, getting a gun, defending the country felt more of a calling to him. His dad was a Navy SEAL.
Imagine you're an Afghan sniper and you're like, I have the target in my sight. Holy fuck. It's Tiger Woods. Like,
No, he's got
just like, how do I take the shot?
It's like if Joe Rogan saves you, you know?
Yeah,
Go through
literally.
that moment of,
I thought you were going to say Tiger Woods is a sniper and he's got the caddy. Like, is that 400 yards? Yeah.
Well, that's exactly what those guys
what's the
are.
wind
They're
look like? Yeah,
caddies.
it's true.
They're fucking killing
He just
caddies.
got right back into it, you know, because he did he lies down on his stomach to see the green.
Caddies for death.
The green.
The problem is his first kill, he gets up and triple fist bumps and he
we
gets
don't
killed by
do-
another
we
sniper.
don't do that here.
Yeah.
And I got to wear my red shirt. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you definitely can't wear red.
No, we can't have Tiger out there sniping on Sundays because he has to wear the red shirt. We can only have him Thursday to Saturday.
Neal was talking, and it never occurred to me, but you have two eyes, but you get one vision. And that's where that's a crazier processor than any camera or anything we have in technology right now. How it can, because it happens to us simultaneously, right?
Yeah.
There isn't a delay, and he had half vision.
It's weird.
But you don't know that there's no delay.
No, I do not know that, but I assume
What do you
there's no
mean?
delay.
It's such a small delay that it's
No, but what I'm saying is
imperceptible.
the latency is the same for all of us, perceivably.
Well, no,
So-
because he only had half vision, so everyone could be different.
I don't understand what you're saying. Like, so I'm looking at you like this.
Yeah.
And then I open like that.
Yeah.
And right away, I see only one of you.
What I'm saying is, like, listen, think about your brain like a computer or a processor. You don't actually know because you're just seeing it and it's happening in what's real time to you. But maybe it's happening like a split I don't know.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm willing to concede that.
But it's not
why
seconds.
does it matter?
The time is nano.
Yeah, sure.
Particle.
He was seeing you and then half of you,
Yes.
right? That's because
And
this
thought
eye
it
was
was
seeing
normal.
1.5.
And how
How could you think that was normal, though?
I don't know. This is his words.
I know.
I want me to defend him.
This
But
is
how?
his word.
How
I wasn't
many,
getting I was asking.
how many ailments or things do people have that they just think is normal? Maybe you don't talk about because it's not that big thing. But if you cross your eyes, to become like they're aligned. It's
To
vision.
become.
It's amazing how perfect
Yeah.
the human body needs to be to just function on the most basic of levels.
And then unfortunately, somehow vision got them to archery, which asked Joe about fighting,
Yeah.
archery,
Yeah.
and he will spin a yarn. But that got saved by Neal, bringing up an interesting book he read about it was in 1985.
People
Enter
dying.
News Entertainment or something, but he's saying we lost the war in news when the music got added. And they started playing, because you just take for, it's just, of course, there's a the breaking news. Like, it was always the facts is all we need. We didn't need to be entertained. And he started talking about, Joe cut him off, but like why a bank has pillars. Like, we are respected.
Why a bank has pillars.
Just these cues that they use to make us think, but we know the bank has no money in it. It's giving all the money away. It's not this, but it looks like an institution because of those pillars.
Roman.
And the news has a symphony playing you in because this is important. This could change your life. It's an interesting observation that there was a time when
You know what's really
it's
interesting?
just the facts, man.
That's a great point. A casino by law, if you want to operate a casino, for every chip on the floor, you have to have $1 in the vault. That's like a law.
You
You cannot
put up more than you have in reserve.
You cannot operate a casino on any sort of credit whatsoever. Every chip on the floor is $1 in the vault. A bank operates the complete opposite.
Yeah. Listen, on Tripoli, they were talking about the Federal Reserve and how they make money.
Yeah.
Just make it up.
Yeah.
Right now we have 0.
Yeah.
I'm going to make 10. That's all I'm going to do. I said it and it's done. Now I'm going to take one of those. I'm going to give it to you. You now have 1. And now you're going to give me money back in interest on that 1. So
Yeah.
give me the money, Matt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now I have your money from nothing.
Yeah.
Like, the whole fucking thing is a scam. The stars are a scam. The fucking
Oh, here we
banks
go.
are a scam.
Here we go.
Question for a hat.
Don't look too far into anything. You won't be pleased with what you find.
That's a good t-shirt. Don't look too far into anything.
I could see Joe buying a soccer team.
Oh, that now he's into soccer?
It seems like he sort of got into soccer, and they're just talking about it, broadcasting. And isn't it strange that we need someone to tell us what's going on? Because I don't watch football usually with the sound on.
You need someone to tell you what's going on in soccer?
I don't
No,
need
he's
anyone
saying-
to tell me what's going on in any
It's
sport,
odd that
but
there's an
it's-
announcer is
it's
what he's
part
saying.
of it. Because Joe's color commentary.
Like, you're watching the game. You don't need someone to say
I'm watching
the
what's
ball.
happening.
It's like it's a thing from the radio
Yes,
era that
yes,
somehow
yes.
got added to
carried
television,
over.
right? Because in the radio,
Oh, right.
you
I
can't
see.
see that the ball is being passed. So it made sense for the radio to go Jordan to Pippen. I mean, that's a
But
terrible
maybe
example because
it's
that's the
there
80s
for
or 90s.
people who don't know the game as well as you do. That's just like Joe
No,
when he says, "My job is to,
That's a little different. Hold
explain
on.
This.
Absolutely.
These color guys should have that same kind of knowledge."
Hold on, that's a little bit different. But what Kamar's saying is, like in basketball, it'll literally be, Luka over to Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie shoots the 3, and like Kamar's saying, I'm watching that happen. I don't need someone to tell me. I get what you're saying. Like,
Yeah, I
the
know, but
in-between-
they also have a guy who's telling you an anecdote about
Yes,
fucking
yeah.
playing in the NHL. That's
Yeah. Listen, I'm fine with all.
I get it. The way it is, it should not be. It's just like Matt put together for me. So I was listening, why do they tell me what's going on? Because I know what's going on. In the Olympics, it helps totally. It's a new sport. You don't even know how to score, so you have the thing. But it was obvious from radio.
Yeah, that's why
watching the game, broadcasting, because you couldn't see it. Because there's no commentator if you're at a game. There's one guy saying first down from the...
There's a DJ or whatever you want to call
Just some
him,
sounds,
an
yes.
announcer. But
also, if you think about it, Simon, the color commentary probably also comes from radio and baseball, because baseball was such a slow sport that the guy had to fill all this dead time between like 2 balls, 1 strike, pitch coming in. You know what I mean?
They're often like, I caught a big bass this weekend, and there he is.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that one
with
Hank
Azaria?
Hank Azaria,
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
My whore wife.
Yeah.
I love certain broadcasters. I wasn't saying it just seems strange when you look back and think like I'm watching someone tell me what's happening.
So you think sports should be run just in silence?
No, sports should be run
and
the way it
nothing
is.
happens on that broadcast. Like,
I will say this,
it would
Simon.
have happened eventually, whether it came from radio or not. I think you're going to end up with people talking about what's going on.
And soccer is actually the funniest because it's like there are delays, like Ronaldo. Ooh, sexy slide. Like there are gaps between them. They don't fill it up as much as baseball. Basketball is quick moving. Hockey, the guys are very aggressive with hockey.
McCartney over up into the point. It's down under the cross check on the corner.
I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think it was a thing that we could talk about for 5 minutes and move off.
Can I tell you something interesting about?
Angry about it.
Can I tell you something interesting about soccer? They did studies over the last couple seasons, and they found that certain teams are only playing on field, ball in play, for 53 minutes a game out of 90.
In what sport?
Soccer. So that means that the game is 90 minutes, right?
So what happens for the rest of that time? It's just people walking around?
It's just the ball's out of play. The keeper's got the ball. He's walking over. There's a throw in.
But 53 minutes of it is game?
53 minutes, yeah.
That doesn't sound that bad. Like,
that's pretty bad. Dude, if you're a paying customer, like if you're watching at home, okay, whatever. You pay to go to a game. I'd like to see 90 minutes being played.
That's why there are so many like riots and stuff, because people are just fucking
play the game.
Yeah. This is crazy. You know how frustrated I get at mini pup?
Yeah.
It's too slow. Like,
yeah.
There would be riots all the time.
I'd like to see the stats on all that though. Like how often is the ball in play in baseball? How often does the ball go in the air in football? It'd probably be like 5 minutes of the game.
But that's different because baseball, like, there's no time. So it's just if the game takes 7 hours, it takes 7 hours.
The game is 7 hours. How long of that?
Well, he's saying they're giving us a pie to play, and we're only allowed to play in half of that pie. Why not just give a pie?
Yeah, like they're right now they're saying in UEFA they're thinking about stopping the clock for certain stoppages. So like if it's a throw in, you stop the clock
and then they give you injury time. Sorry, Matt. They give you injury time. And they don't even tell you how much time that is.
But injury time.
Someone is doing it, right?
No, it's a joke.
Really?
I heard a referee the other day. He was like,
it's arbitrary.
No.
It's not even arbitrary. It's worse than that. He goes, this is usually the formula. Was there a card? A card is usually you add about 30 seconds. Was there a goal? You add about a minute. Dude.
Really? That's how it works?
I thought there was a little clock that every time the ball goes out.
No.
No. Shows what I know.
That would be nice if it was like that, if it was that fucking accurate.
Come on, I watched a game the other day where it comes up. It's the 90th minute on the dot. It comes up +4. The keeper goes down for 3 minutes. He is down on the pitch. The ball
hurt?
Come on, man.
No, but
pretending to be hurt.
And then he kicks it and it's over.
He kicks it. They play for 1 minute and the game gets whistled down. And everyone in the stadium is like, what just happened? Like, there was an African game this year, African Cup of Nations. The ref blew the whistle at 86 minutes.
And he just was like,
They just ended the game. Like a drunk bartender. I'm out of here. This is enough. I've had enough.
What was the score?
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
It was like 1-0 or something.
That's funny.
I know a lot less about soccer than I thought I did.
Anyways.
Either way, I just think if you're a paying customer, like if you go to a hockey game, you're getting 20 minutes a period of puck and play. I get it. Some of it is like guy behind his own net, just, whatever. But that's part of the game. Basketball, same thing. You're getting a full 48 minutes of basketball. I don't know. It's weird.
You never even got to... We must be done soon, right?
What? We got don't worry. Yeah. He might buy He might buy a team.
I thought he might.
The only reason I say that is a lot of these rich guys are diversifying their portfolio. Like Ryan Reynolds and the guy from It's Always Sunny, they own like a Division III English team, Wexford.
I think Joe saw how easily the Russian guy's team was taken, Chelsea, and he's like, being an oligarch right now just isn't a good look.
I gotta say though, I was genuinely surprised. I thought Joe was gonna say I went to an FC game and I just didn't get it. It was boring. But he was the other way. Like it's actually
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if there's some like.
I think of all the sports he watched, that would be the one, because he's been on like soccer's not a sport.
Oh yeah, I thought he was going that way for sure.
Stuff like that, but I think if you saw basketball, football, it'd be like it starts and stops too much. Basketball, he might go. Those guys are too tall.
Listen,
and baseball, no way.
If Joe got courtside seats, he would. I'm telling you, that's the best sporting experience in the world. There is nothing better
because there's nothing between you and the players.
Yeah, it's. I'm telling you, it's just magical.
I'll never know.
Sure, you will. We can get courtside Raptor seats for like affordable.
I would want to spend the money on something else.
Well, I'm not saying we'd spend the money. This guy's a fucking. You know what? I'm not getting you shit. I hope we never make it.
Then they talked about Putin and fame detachment, which Joe sort of alluded to being aware of, experiencing it, because there's something that happens that we can only speculate, but psychologically, like having a kid, seeing the planet from space, losing touch with reality because you have so much money and you have so much fame or power. Have you ever heard that before? Because Neal said about it too. Like, I guess Dave experiences it. Like, you might have to go to a psychologist for fame detachment. I have no fear of it happening to me.
It's funny though. Joe, in one episode, I don't remember the chronological order, but one of the first episodes, maybe this one or the one before, he was like, it's weird how like rich people think that they can just kind of like go places and do whatever they want. Like the rules don't apply to them. And then he talks about how he's like, Dave and I are at this after hours spot. They won't let him smoke a joint. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? It's Dave Chappelle. Like, so you do kind of.
Thank God that story, they did that.
What do you mean?
Well, because I was mad at when it was Doug Stanhope was saying he saw Dave smoke in a place you couldn't smoke.
Yeah.
I was like, I think that's a dick move.
I agreed with you too. I said I love Dave, but I don't love that move.
There was a place that Dave, which sounded like it was like down the hall through the thing, women in cages, but hey, no smoking here. Come on, there are some rules.
Yeah, I don't.
It gave me faith.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't know. I don't like that.
And I think
do.
Detachment is a negative thing.
I do wish I was. Listen though, if Dave Chappelle wanted, he could just fuck off right now with his family forever.
We say that with everybody.
No, but Joe too. Like if Joe has fame detachment, he doesn't have to continue his weird regiment of fame.
Especially politicians. No, there's a lot of people that don't need it anymore, but it's fame detachment has some sort of addiction to it, I think.
Well, look at Elon Musk.
Yes, he's
the perfect example. That guy could quietly go and do all his engineering work and not be in the public eye at all.
No, it's his job to do that.
He's
understand that. Yes,
that's why the CIA hired him. But
what did we miss there?
Joe's in a perfect situation because he's so fucking rich now that as soon as his show starts to wane in popularity, he doesn't even have to like grind it out and sully his legacy. You know what I mean? He can just fucking ride off into the sunset. Yeah. Like that's and knowing that and having that, like that's the biggest safety net, you know?
Well, versus guys who come in and they're doing successful, but they're still saying, I don't know if tomorrow it's going to come or go.
That, and they also haven't maybe made their name yet in like the world that they're looking for. Joe has done that twice over. Like there's nothing left for him to do besides run for fucking president, you know? Well, he's doing Egypt. The comedy club. No, I'm saying as his legacy, like most popular podcast in the world, one of the top comedians, a great guy, like he's doing this comedy thing for the people, and like there's just he can write his
I was gonna talk about it in the post show, but he got named Time top 100 people.
Well, I can understand why. Listen, as far as influence goes in the U.S.,
well, there's
And Time is
There were 10
fucking
categories.
useless.
There's 10 categories.
Useless. What a useless publication.
Is
Look
it?
at all the people they've made Man or Woman of the Year, like an inanimate rod.
Well,
fucking
Elon was Man of the Year.
Hitler, Elon, like fuck off. Clinton, Bush,
Fuck off.
Saddam
Fuck off.
Hussein, like
I would love to see your nomination for the people that were overlooked.
Werner von Braun. You know there's a Werner von Braun stadium in the States?
Where?
I don't know. I heard them talking about it on
Wow.
Tinfoil Hat.
All this crossover. Yeah, I heard him talk about it, but I didn't bother to look it up. As did you. Drugs are banned by people who never do them.
Yeah.
That's a weird thing. Like,
It's the acid.
it should be almost part of law enforcement. All that. Like, you got to know what you're. That means you got to have coke parties and heroin parties and
You're gonna have to try anal butt sex.
know what you're banning or know what you're.
It is weird though. Puritanical people that have no intention on doing these drugs just don't want anyone doing them. In fear that their kids might one day be gay, or I don't know what.
Have
Like
an awakening.
Enlightened.
yeah, well, that's the biggest
It
problem. Yeah,
might fix their brains.
And did then we sort of talked all about the ayahuasca stuff at the end.
We did.
No, at the beginning we talked about him. I mean, we can get more into it, his experience, but he's
His
done it like
fucking
30,
ayahuasca stuff is crazy.
30
man.
times this year.
Crazy.
Or something. Like,
yeah. We've discussed Neal's ayahuasca stuff a bunch, have we not?
Have we never? This is the first time he's ever talked about it.
No, I thought he mentioned it last time, didn't he?
no,
he
the last
talked
time
about
was
the
a special
ketamine.
K.
Okay, well, either way,
Now
fine.
he's
If you
come
really
back.
want to go deep
No,
in,
I don't. That's fine.
are you going to do ayahuasca?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, neither am I. So
But they both agreed that the 5-MeO DMT
That sounds
5-MeO.
is
terrible.
different than DMT
Yeah.
because it's Control Alt Delete for your brain
It sounds terrible. This idea of going back to nothingness, like
before the Big Bang.
it's all very weird.
And what if that is time travel?
What if it is?
I mean, Simon, if you could theoretically go to space without leaving a doctor's office, and then you just come back 15 minutes later,
I mean,
like a new, better person.
But that's not what they're doing. That it's like the removal of everything. So it's down to
yeah, but I'm just saying is like that's what. Listen, I don't know.
I would do DMT, like the one Kamar's done.
Yeah.
Not the one they were talking about in a doctor's office for sure. Like I want to do that. I just this one sounds terrible, and like that stuff Ari did the what's
Go
it
on.
called, Kamar?
Some sort of weed thing.
It wasn't weed. It
no,
was
it's some sort of.
hallucinogenic. It starts with an S.
That's gross.
Salvia.
Salvia.
Sounds horrible.
That came and went.
Horrible.
That's off the table now.
Yeah, I don't want to do salvia. Blech.
He like lived a whole life
Yeah,
in an hour.
But like I said, I think that's very akin to passing out, which we used to do.
I think dreaming is time travel, Kamar.
Uh-huh.
That's what I think is happening now. I think we are going to different places.
I agree with that.
dude. Speaking of the blacking out, I know I'm jumping ahead to Lex, but like that was my because I never ate. So like I wouldn't eat all day, and then I'd start drinking, and I'd have that mindset of like I'll grab something eventually. And then just like 10 shots and 4 drinks later, you're like,
for
no,
sure,
no,
for sure, for
I
sure.
should go over and grab a slice of pizza. And then you've blacked out already. And
Because it's twofold. If you eat, it's harder to drink. Like I can't like just
'Cause you're
chug
filling
on a
your
full
stomach
exactly. But if you're on an empty stomach, it goes down easy, and then it hits you hard, and then it's too late to turn back. So always try to eat before you drink.
oh, always.
If you then
PSA.
eat, does that because you're filling your stomach?
Well, the
does
problem is after you're drunk, you're eating shit, and you're probably going to throw it up. Hot dogs covered with mustard.
I didn't throw up a lot. So for me, Simon, it would at least help the next day. Like I wouldn't be, if I didn't eat that night, the hangover the next day was honestly crippling.
And you should have a marker on your phone that recognizes when you're wasted. It said, drink some fucking water before you go to bed. Drink some fucking water before you go to bed. Because that's the first thing, is that you are officially dehydrated.
Oh, yeah.
Drunk. And you start up with bone dry mouth. Have you had a mouth so dry it like
dude, it
hurts to open it?
I remember I woke up one morning like so dry, and I grabbed a bottle of water beside my bed, and I took the biggest fucking swig, like 2 solid chug swallows, and it was like 5 cigarette butts.
Oh!
And
that's the worst.
dude, I immediately
That's a
just
bad
like,
morning.
"Bleh." Yeah, it was
That's a bad morning.
terrible.
Drinking cigarette water is the absolute fucking worst.
Oh, it's like poison. It can kill you.
Yeah. And right behind that is loogie water.
Oh my god! Well, if someone's spitting
That's
in a bottle in your
gross,
house,
but
yeah.
I mean the cigarettes you feel right away. So
Oh,
I don't
if
know.
it's
I've
if
never
it's,
drank
if it's
loogie
concentrated
water.
enough, it should induce vomiting.
I mean, I lived with someone. I woke up one day and this dude was like, "Bro, I woke up and there was a pint glass full of piss beside my bed. I guess I pissed in the middle of the night." I was like, "Oh God, Jesus
Oh my
Christ!"
God, that's so gross.
So is that it for Neal Kamar?
Rate it, boys.
I give it a. I guess I give it a 3. I guess.
A 3.3.
I give it a 3.
All right, there it is. We're gonna pay some bills and we will be right back.